Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Official Rules, a sweepstakes podcast. I am your host, Jay Victor. Thank you for joining me this Monday night, October 21st, for what is episode 12 of my beloved podcast, and I thank you for listening. Lots of stuff to wrap up, but first and foremost, last Friday, myself and the queen, the contest queen, Carolyn Willman, it was an absolute pleasure to be interviewed by her on her live, on her YouTube channel. And if you didn't see it or would like to see it, or if nothing else, if you're trying to learn more about this hobby, step one is to follow and watch Carolyn's videos, because she is the OG in this game, literally on a show about sweepstaking quite some time ago. And as I mentioned, one of the impetuses for me to get into sweeping. However, if you're not following her, you really should. So if you're listening to me now, pause the podcast, go to YouTube. Her web address is youtube.com/@contestqueen. Or if you're not down with loading in the website address, just go to YouTube and search Contest Queen. You'll find her, subscribe to her. She's got great content. She has great shorts that come up on your YouTube video feed. If you're just getting into sweeping, you're going to learn, as I did, a ton from her. And once again, Carolyn, thank you so much for having me on. It was an absolute pleasure. And a couple of folks in my family that know I'm into sweeping, mainly one of my cousins and my mom, they were absolutely thrilled to see it and said I did a great job. I told them that Carolyn did a great job, and it was completely her doing. So thank you once again. I look forward to your trip to Connecticut towards the end of the year. I would love to do a live together, and I will be glad to plan it out. So I had a wonderful time. Everybody, if you haven't already, go check out Carolyn Willman, Contest Queen. If you Google Contest Queen, you're going to see Carolyn everywhere, because she is the queen. So that was an absolutely wonderful time. Very glad it happened. And I look forward to meeting with Carolyn again. So, one of my favorite segments, our TCL sweepstakes. What's going on? What happened? How far off was I? Was I far off? Well, I wasn't too far off. If we go back to the last game for entry period 6, which is the start of week 7, in the NFL, that was last Thursday's game, October 17th, the Broncos versus the Saints. Up for grab were 13 98-inch TVs from TCL. But, as always, there's a certain event that must happen before it will trigger the giveaway. And if you recall from the last podcast, what was that event? 5 or more passing touchdowns by one player. Folks, I'm not even going to get into it. As I mentioned in the previous podcast, it was not even close. Not by a long shot. I watch the game because I try to take in as much football as I can during the season for fantasy purposes, or otherwise, if nothing else, for the enjoyment of it. But it was a tough game all around for both, actually for the Saints, because the Broncos won, so they didn't have too much of a tough time. But there was no quarterback throws for touchdowns to be seen for the most part. I'll tell you what did happen. The guy that has not been producing on one of my fantasy teams, who plays for the Broncos, Mr. Javonte Williams. I finally had a team this week that was healthy and all my starters were in place. He hasn't been really producing for me, so I decided to bench him for that game. Well, wouldn't you know who won the pony? Mr. Javonte Williams. As I predicted to my cousin in jest, I said, watch. Now that I've benched him, he's going to run for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Well, I was close. He ran for, I believe it was 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I'm not going to be that sour guy. All I have to say is congratulations, Javonte, for your first 2 touchdowns of this NFL season. I'm very happy that you got them. Sorry it happened while you were on my bench in fantasy. Nonetheless, I won that week handily on that league. My other league, not so much. It's coming down to today. But suffice it to say, no TVs given away by TCL. However, going into this upcoming week for Thursday's game, it's going to be October 24th, the Vikings versus the Rams. Same prize up for grabs, 13 98-inch TCL TVs. The event this time, my opinion, much more doable and not maybe as easy as one of the receiving games like the 49ers and Seahawks where each team had to get 98 yards receiving. However, although this one's tough, this one's going to be doable, and both teams have players that can make it happen. A rushing or a receiving touchdown, a single one, a rushing or receiving touchdown that is 85 or more yards, rushing or receiving. If I'm going by the wording, my assumption is that a kickoff return or a punt return touchdown will not count the way I'm reading this, because neither one of those are considered really, even though you are rushing while doing it, it's not considered a rushing touchdown. But we're going to see what happens. Good luck to everybody involved in the TCL sweepstakes. And side note, I went to do some TV shopping because my wonderful mother is coming to visit us this week, coming up from the south. And our spare room does not have a TV for her, so I decided to purchase a TV. But I also noticed when I was at my in-laws' house, their extremely small TV in their living room has some bulbs that are not turning off in the back. If you've ever seen an LCD or an LED panel that's old, it looks like there's a bulb or 2 or 3 that are constantly on in the background, and that TV's seen better days. So I bought actually a few TVs today. Shout out to Costco and Costco Direct. They have a great program if you're going to buy multiple items. So after you buy the first one, every multiple one after that is $100 off each. So only because for my household, and don't tell my kid, but I got him one for Christmas for his room. I got 2 55-inch LGs for my house, because we're an LG household. We've had 3 LG TVs. We have an LG stick vac, a dishwasher, a washer dryer, an air conditioner, a dehumidifier. We've had tons of luck with LG products throughout the years, so I like to stick with LG. The TV I went for my in-laws' house, however, because my mother-in-law mentioned that the sound from her current TV was really muddled and muted, and she didn't like it. So I was at Costco, and I was looking at some TVs, and I noticed that one had a kind of a sound bar built into it with a subwoofer. I believe it was, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Onkyo 2.1 surround system with a subwoofer. And that was none other than TCL, this very nice 58-inch TV. And let's put this in perspective, folks. In the late 80s for Christmas, my parents bought me a 13-inch Sony TV for my room that had the faux wood paneling, but it did have a remote control. In $1988, they spent almost $400 on that TV. I think it was like $380. That's the equivalent of $1,000 for a 13-inch TV. A 13-inch TV. And nothing flat about it. It was a cube. I walked out of Costco, including Connecticut sales tax, at $909 with two 55-inch TVs and a 58-inch TCL. So how times have changed. But if you're looking for a deal, and if you happen to need multiple TVs, check out not only Costco if you're a member, but specifically Costco Direct. The TV has to be labeled with that little tab that says Costco Direct. You don't have to get all of the same TV, but as long as it's Costco Direct, after the first one, you'll get $100 off each. So essentially, the TV I bought from my in-laws was $289.99 minus $100. So a 58-inch TV with a built-in soundbar and subwoofer cost $189 plus tax. I know everything's gotten more expensive, folks, but TVs are not it. They're going the opposite way. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law were very happy, and they insisted that they pay me back. And then I told them there's no point, A, because it's an early Christmas present, and B, it costs next to nothing. And this TV has from what it said on Costco's website, a 3-year warranty. So, I mean, even if the TV dies in 3 years, I'll buy another one. It was only $189, but I couldn't pass up that deal. So shout out to Costco for the awesome deals. Love Costco. And I mentioned Costco, LG, TCL. Someone give me a sponsorship. Let's monetize this thing. Totally kidding, although not really. So that's the wrap up for TCL. Lot better shot this upcoming Thursday for an 85-yard rushing or receiving touchdown. If Sam Darnold hooks up with Justin Jefferson, I mean, he can easily go for an 85-yard receiving touchdown. On the other end, if we're talking about, I would probably say Kyren Williams, the running back for the Rams, he's got the legs to bust out an 85-yard run. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens, and hopefully we finally get lucky. We've been through currently, what do we got? 6 entry periods done so far, not a single TV given out, but that's the name of the game. There's more good things to come. And who knows, maybe one of the rarities will happen and TCL has to cough up, 251 98-inch TVs at $1 million cost. So good luck to everybody who's still participating in the TCL sweepstakes. Up next, a brand new top 5. But before we get into the top 5, do you not agree with possibly my take on football, my taste in televisions, my shameless pandering for plugs and sponsorships? If you got any beef, or maybe you just have something nice to say, it's sweepstakespodcast@gmail.com. sweepstakespodcast@gmail.com. The top 5. Here we go. So, number 1, we're going to stay on kind of the football subject here. The Toyota Game Day Challenge. This one is number 4. Now, this one's already done and over with, but as I've mentioned before, I like anything tied into football or fantasy football or being able to watch a game. So I'm putting this one at number 5. And weird enough, this game's already over, and I have the results. Unfortunately, it's not a win, but I like the way they had it set up anyway. So basically, Toyota has one sweepstakes where I believe they're giving away a trip for the Super Bowl, but they have another portion of it that is based on game days. And the weird thing is they have They kind of even let you enter it if these dates and everything are correct. After, the game's already done. This had to do with the Sunday game between the Steelers and Jets. Now, the Jets just got Devonta Adams from my Las Vegas Raiders. Apparently, he was fed up with our 2-5 team and wanted to go to another 2-5 team because he wanted to be with Aaron Rodgers. And that game, unfortunately, did not pan out for him at all. Best of luck, Devontae. I hope it works out for you. But this game was not it. Granted, they haven't played together in a while, so I guess you got to give them at least that. But this game day challenge presented by Toyota, you basically needed a field goal over 40 yards made in the second half. If that happened, if that event happens, similar to the TCL sweepstakes for the TVs, 100 winners were going to get a $125 Uber Eats gift card. Unfortunately, that did not happen. There was a field goal that was much shorter than 40 yards, and there was even a blocked field goal that was also shorter than 40 yards. But this one makes my top 5 just for the reason that it's tied in with football. It's a fun thing to watch for in the games. And, apparently reading the rules after the game was done, you could have entered the sweepstakes knowing that the event did or didn't happen. So shout out to them for making it interesting. Number 5 on our top 5 list. That one was for all of our friends in the 50 U.S. States, including D.C., ages 18 and older, that have reached the age of majority. No one won that one, but here's looking out for the next contest as well. Number 4, the Pumpkin Masters 2024 Pumpkin Carving Contest. I got this one in my email because I believe they had a similar contest last year. Sometimes it pays not to unsubscribe just so you get entry of contests that these companies do later. But this is a single entry sweep running from October 1st through October 29th. It is open to all of our friends in the 50 United States, including DC and Canada, except for Quebec, ages 18 and older. Pretty simple. It's going to be judged. You're going to submit a pumpkin carving photo. They're going to look at all the entries and, basically it's a skills test. Make it nice, make it family orientated. Be creative. One grand prize winner is going to get $5,000. Another person is going to get $2,500. 4 winners will get a prize package of Pumpkin Master products. As well as another 4 people. Looks like they're going to get the same thing, maybe on a lesser level. Creative sweepstakes are fun. This is a single entry. You could get your family involved. I like it. That's why it ends up at number 4. Good luck to everybody who's doing that one. I look forward to having my son carve up a pumpkin as best he can, and we'll see what happens with that one. Number 3, the USAA NFL Super Bowl sweepstakes. Super Bowl is obviously a bucket list type thing for me. This one's easy. It's a single entry. It's running from September 5th until November 30th, open to all of our friends in the 50 United States, including DC, who are ages 18 and older. And this is going to be a trip for 2 to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, which includes airfare, a 3-night hotel stay, and $7,500. So you got your spending money, or you could call it an offset for the taxes, because obviously as a Super Bowl prize, it's going to be a lot, including the $7,500. Your total value on this sweep is going to be $25,000. So good luck to everybody who enters that one. I like the time frame. I love that it's one entry. I'm a USAA member through my wife's family, so I like the company too. So shout out to USAA for great sweepstakes. And hopefully one of our listeners will win it. Maybe me, who knows? Number 2. And shout out to Bill Jensen for letting me know about this one way ahead of time. It seems like, I don't doubt that our friend Bill knows about these things as soon as they come out, but I think he posted, I believe, on Facebook when this came out, and I jumped on it. And I know also that our friend, the contest queen, Carolyn Willman, did a little kind of filter by short for the sweepstakes to, I believe it was the Olympics. So filter by doing big things. What we got here, win a Jeep sweepstakes. Filter by is going to award one grand prize winner a 2024 Jeep Wrangler vehicle in the form of a $34,700 check. So win-win on both sides. Now, being in the car business and working for a family who actually owned 2 Jeep dealerships previously, the $34,700 has to really be the, looks like maybe MSRP for probably their entry-level Jeep Wrangler, because I know some of them go up to $50,000 and $60,000. However, if you know of anybody in the car business, or you've been in the car business yourself, and you're going to be buying any kind of car, whether it's new or used, take it from me. And obviously, we all love our creature comforts. The less stuff you have in your car, the better. The less stuff that there is to break down in the future, says the guy who has a 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive pickup truck. Less stuff to go wrong. This is like the perfect type of sweep. So shout out to Filter By for doing it this way, saying, hey, you can win a Jeep, but you know what? We're just going to give you a check and, buy a Jeep, or, buy something you want, or don't buy anything, put the money away. Open to, as it states, legal residents of the U.S. that are ages 21 and older. This one runs through the 15th of this month, over to November 15th. So 1 month, 1 entry. Win a Jeep, win a check for $34,700, whatever you want to call it. Great sweep. And thank you, Mr. Bill, for letting me know about it. Appreciate you, buddy. And my number 1 on this week's top 5. And if you were listening to the interview that I had with the contest queen, you would have heard me talk about this. But Odyssey, the radio conglomerate, the Odyssey Fall into 5K a day giveaway. This is basically a radio promotion, but you have to download an app or log in to your account on your desktop, which when I'm doing my sweeps in the morning, I'm in my office / recording studio / 12 by 12 closet / fortress of solitude. And I'm listening to music anyway, so I basically, and Odyssey's got a ton of stations, but I listen to Light 100.5 in the mornings, just because that's the kind of music I want to listen to when I wake up first thing in the morning and having my coffee. So I listen to anything and everything out there, but I'm not going to be listening to Slipknot or Waka Flocka No Hands first thing in the morning. I like me a Light 100.5 WRCH on the Odyssey app. And basically you have to listen to one of the stations listed on the entry form, Light 100.5 being one of them. You have to listen to the station for an hour to receive your entries. Now, the thing I like about this, obviously, This one runs from the 14th of this month to the 10th of next month, so a little less than a month. It is a daily. It's open to legal residents of the contiguous U.S. Sorry to our friends in Alaska and Hawaii, as well as our friends in D.C., ages 18 or older. They're open to. But this is basically a $5,000 check 28 times. So they're going to have 28 grand prize winners, one per day, in this giveaway. The total amount of $140,000. And it's something that I do anyway. I listen to Light 100.5. I listen to the Odyssey app every morning, and I listen to it for just over an hour anyway, because that's how long it takes to enter my 100 to 140 sweeps every day, depending on what part of the year it is. So this sweepstakes was obviously, I was going to do it anyway, even if they didn't let me know about it, because I'm logged into my Odyssey account and I'm listening to the radio anyway. So shout out to Odyssey for this type of contest, to where you're doing what you would do anyway. If you're on your way to work, if you have a long ride to work, if you have the type of job where you can listen at work, all you have to do is listen for 1 hour and you're in. You're logged into your account. You're in. You got your daily entry. Now, granted, it's the 21st and I haven't won yet. I don't know if you heard that. That's me knocking on this fine wood veneer desktop that I'm sitting at. But maybe I win, maybe I don't. The whole thing is I got to listen to the radio station that I would listen to anyway. So shout out to Odyssey for that fantastic wrap up for this week's brand new top 5. I hope you enjoyed it. But with many things, with the highs come the lows. And with all top 5s, maybe there's some bottom 5s. Maybe there's some things you don't necessarily like. Things that just make you say, hated it. Well, this week, it's not one particular sweep. I ran into a couple that are fantastic sweeps, but they some of them just made me say, huh? So, and I mentioned one with Carolyn Willman. Lay's has the Do Us a Flavor giveaway. Now, they're giving away $1 million, and then two other winners are going to get $50,000. This runs from October 16th through February 21st, so it's going to take a while. It's a creative one. You have to come up with your own flavor of chip, but they say you can do it daily, and you could submit up to 10 entries of substantially different flavors every day. I love Lay's. There's Lay's in my house. We get Lay's when we go to Subway. Lay's all day, every day. This seems like a full-time job to come up with 10 flavors. Now, if you said 10 max over the course of the sweepstakes, gotcha, 10-4. But, shout out to anyone who's doing 10 different flavors every day until February 21st. If you know what? I might even drop this off the list, because if you're doing that, maybe you deserve $1 million, because I'm not. The next one that I just saw today was the Solo Wood Dream Wedding giveaway. And I'm reading through the rules, and I kind of I get to a point when I'm reading the rules, because they say one grand prize winner is going to receive an all-inclusive wedding package worth up to $75,000. It also says if the winner has recently had their wedding, they can opt for $75,000 in cash. And if you're listening to this and you read deeper into the rules than I did a pretty good job reading them. I didn't read anywhere that they put a time frame or said what the word recently meant, or in the eligibility clauses mentioned, oh, you have to be some kind of newlywed or something like that. If I'm missing it, if you could please let me know. I don't know. I think it's kind of odd to leave it kind of open-ended like that, and I don't know. Definitely a big fan of trying to win 75 grand, but a little bit of clarity would have been fantastic when it comes to the rules of that contest. But good luck to everybody who entered that one. Next one is another relatively new one. Now, I love this because it's a product I use. It's the Tide Super Bowl sweepstakes. 21 winners are going to get 2 tickets to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Now, this one runs from September 29th to December 14th. You need to read the rules first before you attempt to enter, because you're going to cut yourself short. The downside is the rules, for me, took forever to find. So basically, they have a list or an appendix of what they call proud partners in their area. And some states have 4 partners listed. Others have 1. Another says not available. They have a separate national contest. And when you're not logged in and you go to their website, it says you must log into your P&G account to enter the sweeps. But that's not true. Right in the rules, it says you can enter by email and send an email to the company that runs their sweeps. So not a big fan of, saying you have to do this to enter when obviously that's not the case. But I get it. They want people to sign up for P&G, but it might be a better way to get around that, instead of saying, hey, you have to log into this account. And by the time you finish up an account, if you read the rules, oh, by the way, you didn't need that account. B, the way they wrote these entries, and you can select up to 5 proud partners to get 1 entry into their pool, but if you don't write something into the email, you'll get the drawing of the difference. And it's if you're going to enter that sweepstakes, just please read the rules thoroughly so you know what they're saying or trying to say. Shout out to P&G for giving away Super Bowl tickets, but might have been a better way around it than that. But, love their products anyway. And the last one that we had in this week's episode of Hated It, the MCQ Markets Lamborghini giveaway. So I didn't enter this contest. It looks like they're giving away a pre-owned 2015, a 10-year-old white Lamborghini Huracan with approximately 27,000 miles. The shocking thing is that this 10-year-old car with 27,000 miles still has a value of $187,000, plus a trip to Miami to attend a presentation. I know someone is going to make use of this prize. Besides reselling it immediately to pay for the taxes that you're going to have to pay on this thing, which is going to be probably 50 grand on 189, maybe 35 grand, somewhere between 35 and 50 grand, which, 50 grand, you can buy a really nice brand new car with warranty, but obviously it's not a Huracan. So just depends. Are you the type of person who would ever want a supercar in your life, being in a position that you're not a millionaire, to pay for the first oil change, which the first oil change will probably cost you $8,000 on that car. I don't know. Interesting sweepstakes. So, for those that left me deep in thought or left me confused, hated it. So, anyways, and trust me, it's all love. This is as I mentioned with Carolyn. It's a little tongue in cheek. My top 5 are a top 5 essentially because, as I mentioned before, they have an easy entry process. They have a short timeline that they follow. In many cases, it's something that I can use. When it gets into the ones that are, I'm not going to say the Lay's challenge is difficult, because if I wanted to, I'm sure I could come up with 10 very different flavors every day. It's just not going to be me. And I know there's going to be someone out there that goes ahead and gets that done, but it's not going to be your boy. But that'll do it for the top 5, the bottom 5, the TCL wrap up, my bragging of being on with the contest queen. And that's going to wrap it up for episode number 12 of Official Rules, a sweepstakes podcast. I am your host, Jay Victor. Our email is sweepstakespodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me and have a great day.
This has been a Father and Son production.